studying with Plymouth University for healthcare partners. My name's Adele Kane. I'm lead for BSc Health Studies, and I have with me Sharon Russell, academic lead Health and Social Care Partnerships.
Hello.
And we're going to talk you through this. So you can watch this at home. You may be being shown this in the classroom. Also, your module teacher will give you this via email so that you can click onto the links that we demonstrate and follow the study skills, etc. So what I'm going to do first off is just say we do have a little introductory video so you get to see us talking for a minute or two. It isn't necessary, but we'd be quite happy for you to do that. So it is designed for you to listen and watch, and as I've just said, as a handout, but you will obviously need headphones or your volume turned up on your speakers on your PC. So first of all, we're really pleased that you're undertaking a partnership module, and what it does mean is that you are actually registered onto the BSc Health Studies programme. You may be just doing a module on its own, or you may be doing this module as part of your study and you might be working towards a degree, which we'll talk about in a minute. Although you are studying probably in your employer's study areas or your classrooms, you are entitled to full access to a wide range of university resources, and that's quite important for you because there's loads, and we're going to talk about some of them as we go through.
So Adele, it's great that we're looking on the screen at all the different options, but for those of us that are not quite sure about the different awards, I wonder if you could just explain what the options are and the awards for the students taking part in the modules.
Okay. As I said a minute ago, you might be just doing a module alone, but you might want to accumulate and undertake different modules. So there are two awards for our programme, and the first one I'm going to talk about is the Bachelor of Science Award. You have to undertake one core module and then 60 credits, so that's another 3 modules from any courses that we provide at the university or any partnership modules. So the core modules could be practice-based learning or evidence-informed decision making or mentorship, 20 credits. So if you study one of those and then 60 more credits from anything that you've done, and there's quite a range available to you, and we're starting to put information onto our website about partnership modules, but any other courses that Plymouth run are available here. If you click the link, it'll take you to the university website.
So I'd get a degree if I followed that pathway?
Yes, that's correct. You get a degree.
What's the difference between the honours degree then?
Well, the honours is a little bit extra, and it's another extra 20 credits. But you do have to do 2 core modules. One of those must be evidence-informed decision making. And then, as we talked about a minute ago, you can choose one of the other 2 core modules, practice-based learning or mentorship. And then, as I've just described, your 80 credits, so that's four 20 credit modules, or you might do a 40 credit module or whatever. You can choose those from any area that we do at Plymouth University, or they could be modules within your own organisation. So there's quite a flexible range. You have 6 years from the point when you register onto your first module to complete the program. So it is quite a bit of a time. So the program is designed for flexible study, which people would balance with, possibly full-time employment.
So if I've done some modules a while back, it's worth just checking with either the module leader or the university just to see where I fit into either of these pathways.
That's right, and the choice is yours. And just if you do decide that you'll take the BSc award, you can at a later date do some more modules to top it up to an honours award, and some people choose to do that.
Oh, right, so it doesn't matter if I've already got my award. If I do decide that, oh, that's a good option. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, so very, very flexible. So Some of you have already got an honours degree. You might have graduated with an honours degree, or you've done our health studies degree, but you can continue level 6 or degree level modules, and many people do continue to do them because they're doing modules that are very specific to their work area, partnership modules. So you can actually, once you've done 80 credits, so that would be sort of 420 credit modules, you can gain a graduate certificate in professional studies. Or if you do up to 120 credits, you can get a graduate diploma in professional studies. So doing extra modules is never a waste. And some people think, well, I've got a degree. Why should I carry on doing this? Well, you can actually get another award. You can even go to graduation ceremony and get that award.
So this is very attractive for people who are maybe in specialist areas, as you say, coming out with a degree. They want maybe the skills, possibly clinical skills, and don't know what to do with the credits. So this is a good way of accumulating and getting something out of that.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what does being registered onto our programme mean? In terms of access and resource, you can access a wide range of resources to support your learning. And I suggest when you get this as an electronic handout, you click and have a look. I mean, the picture with it there talks about study skills. Now, these things are available. You can click on this and away you go and have a look at all sorts of different things. We're going to have just a little closer look at some of the sort of key things. You can do that whether you've got your registration sorted or not. That is an open access to anybody, whether they're studying on modules or not. But as you're registered onto the program when you start your module, with your registration number, you can access more learning resources. And this tells you how you can go about doing that. You have to register for a computing account, and you can click the link here and register here. You will need your registration number in order to do that. You'll then get into our Moodle site, which is our digital learning environment, and you follow the instructions that I've got there, and then the digital learning environment click is in there. A lot of the resources operate better with Google Chrome as a search engine, and we highly recommend that you use that.
So there's no difference with registering on and enrolling onto a partnership module as you would do with any of the traditional modules in the university. You're still being able to access the same resources.
Absolutely,
Yeah?
that's right. Just because you're doing a partnership module, you're doing it with your employer or your employer's running it, doesn't mean to say they're excluded from accessing any university resource. And here's just a few things to look at. So this is our program site where information about health studies is. There's lots of bits and pieces there, usually sort of student handbooks, how to contact people, how to get the best out of our digital library, or even our, visiting a local university library. And the thing is to go in and have a little look. These are just two little courses mini courses that you can do, self-test courses. Take 10 or 15 minutes if you're looking at studying and how to hear critical reflection, or how to study, read literature, how to write. They're all there, little mini courses, and they're just a couple of examples. You just click in onto them and away you go. And the great thing about them is you can stop, pause, have a look at something and return to them, or you can return to them later on and go through it again.
So if some of my colleagues or some of the students haven't done any studying for some time and they're a bit nervous about coming onto a program, this could be some pre-work or some in-between work that they could look at to get their study skills up to speed prior to any submission of assessments.
Absolutely. We strongly recommend it. In fact, we really suggest that you actually just have a look at this. And sometimes you might surprise yourself when you go through it that you actually do realise, some of these
better than I think.
Yeah, better than you think, and obviously others. So sometimes a bit of a refresh, or sometimes it's think, oh, all right, that's really useful, and they're really simple, and you just play them on just press a play button. So the sort of things that we need to ensure and is available for you is that there is a university handbook, and that can be accessed through the site. Your program handbook, again, is available there. Now, your module handbook and the clinical competencies, if you have to do clinical competencies, you really need to be very familiar with that, and your module teacher will go over that with you in detail. Applying for a library card, you'll get some paperwork for that, and if you're based in Plymouth or in Cornwall, then you can access the university library. Otherwise, you can access the library in your organisation. But however, it's recommended again that you get started with the library, because you can use the electronic search sites, you can read ebooks, you can download journal articles, and you can do all of that from your home or your workplace. You don't have to come into a library, and there's an awful lot out there.
So that's quite a list of reading there, and I can see that there's some key text that, during modules, certainly the students would want to be very interested in reading. So you talked about the handbook and the module handbook. So those two things, those would be kind of like their Bibles, that they would be their go-to books if they wanted to discuss anything with their tutors. You'd
Yes,
recommend that they bring those or have them to hand on the phone?
absolutely,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
So a little bit of other things to help you, again, is these are very good sites, and again you'll see little mini presentations, and where you can start, stop and read about how to read critically, academic writing and effective writing skills. These are really good, and I know you might note that the web addresses of Northampton, these are shared resources, and our information technologists and our library staff have recommended these as suitable and again pretty essential reading for you. So again,
Good backup reading for our study skills and tutorial sessions
yes,
then.
definitely. The other thing we wanted to talk to you about, we talked earlier about doing the programme over a 6-year period, and also about continuing your study. But the other thing is that you might actually be able to obtain credits towards, through our accreditation of prior learning courses, for anything that you may have done, not necessarily with your employer or with us. So you may have studied through another university, you may have done things through the Open University, or you may have done specific courses, and all of those can be given credits for. There is an application process, and here are the contact details. And quite often there's several ranges of things. We do things to credit people's leadership courses that they might have undertaken. Also, if you've done a series of study days or study courses, then again we can look at that, and for a short piece of work we would, you can get accredited for it. Sometimes we accredit for work that you've previously done, and sometimes we ask you to do a short assignment so that we can see you demonstrate degree level writing. The scope is vast, and everything can be considered, and it's always worth making inquiries about. And you can accredit more than one thing, so, and that can be brought in. So anything you've done previously could be considered and might be really useful if you're thinking of actually wanting to, take that degree route.
So some of the things may be some competencies in-house competencies, maybe clinical competencies, or you said leadership. And is there a cost attached to that?
We do have a fee. Each year the fee is set differently. The website information about that is available, what our standard fees are, but again each thing is individual. It may be, if you've already, if you've already completed some work, and we look at it and say this is fine, then it's going to be less than if you have to write a short assignment, because you're paying for tutorial support. So you would have tutorial support for any assignment we ask you to do, the same way as you have tutorial support for modules that you study. And so you'll have opportunity to discuss your ideas with a tutor, have a draft reviewed, and access to learning resources, as we've been talking about.
Oh, good, because I think some people maybe think that they just need to write something and they won't get any assistance. So knowing that there's backup tutorial support there will be quite useful for anybody who's a bit nervous.
Yeah, that's fine. We really need to talk to you specifically about plagiarism, and your module teacher may talk to you about that, but well, unfortunately in this world this is something that is increasing, and I just need to clarify that. You might have already remembered back way there's a little video that you can watch about how to avoid plagiarism. So I need to say that if you do copy in the way I'm going to describe, and it's recognised that that's the case, we have an investigation panel, and it may lead to decision that you fail the course or that your work is referred, and that it's considered as it's dishonesty, so it's considered as academic dishonesty. You could be referred to your regulatory body, NMC or the HCPC. There are three types of plagiarism then. One is copying someone else's work. For example, borrowing your mate's essay and copying it kind of word for word almost. The other thing is presenting large sections of others' work without acknowledgement. And this is what we often commonly see. And it's partly due to the fact that people aren't skilled in paraphrasing. In other words, reading something in an article, for example, and then reproducing what you've read word for word, rather than interpreting it into your own words to demonstrate that you can interpret what you read in your own words and have your own thoughts on it, and not acknowledging, not citing the source that you've obtained it for. The other thing is contract plagiarism, and this is increasing. There are several websites that advertise that they will write your essay for you. So you actually pay for an essay writing service. If you look on eBay, you will see students selling their essays. And as you can imagine, I just talked about professional practice and what's expected of the profession, and this is really considered academic dishonesty. So make sure you know how to referencing, make sure you know how to paraphrase it. Some of those email links that we've looked at already will take you to sites to show you and demonstrate how to change things and review things. So please, please have a look at it. And if you're seeing this in the classroom, your tutor will click on that and you can watch the little film together. We use Harvard-style referencing. There's this support for that is called Cite It Right, and again, if you click on here, you'll see a little video.
So this sounds like it's really serious stuff, and obviously if anybody's got any concerns, I mean there's some examples I believe of how to reference correctly in the module handbooks that you get through the links online. So I've seen those, but I think if there's any shadow of a doubt, you kind of go back to your tutor and just get them to check it out, and they should be able to help you, yeah?
I can't overemphasize enough how important it is to share the work you're formulating with your tutor to get feedback on. And in my experience, 99.9% of the time, those people that don't pass a module are those that don't seek support. And if it's we expect it, and actually, you know, that's what we're paid for as part of the delivery arrangement, is to support you in your assessment. And it's such a shame if you actually not sure how to do things, not sure how to reference, not sure how to paraphrase, but you don't ask for support and assistance.
Tutorial is the key.
Absolutely. So who will support you? Well, we've talked about your module teacher already. Obviously, the education lead for your employer will also be supporting the modules that you undertake in your organisation, and you can always seek myself or our administration department for advice as well.
So the same rules apply as if you're in work then, really. If you have a problem, the first person you talk to will be your module lead, and then if they don't know the answer, they'll seek advice and get back to us, but we're still able to speak to the colleagues in the university should that need arise, yeah?
So one of the things that often happens in this busy day in life is personal life or work circumstances overtake your plans to complete your assessment, and therefore, you can, and we really encourage you to consider talking to us and thinking about having extenuating circumstances. Now, there are two types of extenuating circumstances. One, you negotiate a 10-day late submission, or you extenuate and you would be asked to submit after the next exam board. And that would usually be, depending on your hand-in date and depend on when the exam board is, depends when that be, but your module teacher will be able to give you advice and support. Extenuating circumstances forms can be got from your module teacher or whoever is administering your course. You can always ask us, and please, we'd rather that you do that than try and struggle on and feel or not submit, which would be the other thing that happens, is that you find it's difficult, but you don't submit. Now, non-submission is a shame, because there is always a way to help and support people when they get into sticky situations. There will be forms that need to be filled in. It is considered, and each case is treated individually at our exam board. But the most common things that people find, obviously personal illness or a family problem, or change in pressures of work. Some people, halfway through a module have to start a new job, and obviously that's the priority and not studying. All sorts of things, and I just can't overemphasize enough. Talk to your tutor or talk to us about that. Withdrawal should really be the last resort, but we also require forms to be filled in and supported by and acknowledged by your manager and possibly your education lead within your organisation.
And I think that's a really good point, because we work in a caring environment and things change from day to day. So, I mean, I think most problems can be looked at and dealt with if you liaise with the tutor. And as you say, we don't really want people to not submit. I'm sure the managers or themselves don't, but withdrawal should be the last resort. And I'm sure with help from the tutors, there will be an answer that should suit most people. I think that's really our experience, is it not?
Yeah, definitely. I need to just highlight that we do have a complaints process if you're not satisfied with your module or the way in which the university is handling you. There is a formal process that takes place. There's a formal complaint situation. Again, obviously, people, you can talk to us or your module teacher. They do come into our dean's office, and we have a specific way in which we treat and manage complaints, and we keep you posted of our investigations throughout. There is, deadlines around processes, but we'll always inform you and support you if you wish to take this route.
So for people who maybe feel a little uncomfortable talking to their tutor, if they're a bit unhappy, they can contact either yourself or possibly me or the development team in the university, and that shouldn't be any problem.
Absolutely
No?
not. I mean, we don't want people to be dissatisfied. Sometimes the sooner you raise your concerns, we can sort things out for you, rather than you mithering on about things, and then it all becomes complicated and long-winded before we resolve it. Well, that's the end of our presentation. There's certainly some important information within. What we urge you to do is you'll be sent this electronically, so you can listen to it again if you wish, and go back over the points to clarify it. We're really keen for you to enjoy the courses that you undertake and are obviously successful, and we look forward to seeing you all complete your modules and maybe at graduation if you complete the degree.
Yep. Good luck with your studies.